explain the different factors pertaining to steering geometry in brief. We know that the factors which influence the front wheel alignment are factor related to wheels, factor related to steering geometry, steering linkage, and suspension system. Now let's discuss the factors pertaining to steering geometry in brief. There are 5 main factors pertaining to steering geometry. They are camber, kingpin inclination, combined angle and scrub radius, caster, and toe in or toe out. Let's discuss each one by one. Camber. Camber is defined as the tilt of the car wheels from the vertical. A wheel is said to have positive camber if the top of the wheel tilts out, whereas it is said to have negative camber if the top of the wheel tilts in. While running, this inclination of the wheel inwards or outwards causes the tire to wear more on one side than the other. A typical positive cambered front left tire can be shown as. Now, in running condition, it is seen that because of the positive camber, the tire tends to roll like a truncated cone about the point O. This causes the wheel to toe out a little. Also, the tire wears more on the outer side. Similarly, a negatively cambered tire tends to toe in a little and wears on the inner side. Under normal practice, the initial positive camber of 2 degrees is provided in the wheels, so that when the vehicle is loaded, the camber automatically reduces to 0. Kingpin inclination. Kingpin inclination is defined as the inclination of the kingpin from vertical. It is very necessary to have some inclination of the kingpin, as it allows the straight ahead recovery after taking a turn, thus providing directional stability. To understand this, consider a vehicle taking a turn. The inclination of kingpin causes the vehicle body to move up in relation to the wheels. Thus, as soon as the turn gets completed, the weight of the vehicle tends to return the wheels to the straight position. In cars, the ball joints instead of kingpin, it is known as steering axis inclination and is defined as the inclination of ball joint axis with the vertical. Under normal practice, around 7 to 8 degrees of inclination is provided to the kingpin. Combined angle and scrub radius. Combined angle or included angle is defined as the angle between the wheel center line and the kingpin center line. It's equal to sum of camber angle and kingpin inclination. To understand scrub radius, consider a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Here, the tractive force of the vehicle pushes the suspension cross-member and the body forwards during drive. Thus, the forward tractive force acts at a point where kingpin axis meets the road. Also, the road resistance acts at the wheel contact point on the road. Now, the distance between these 2 points is known as scrub radius. According to the kingpin inclination, scrub radius may be positive, 0, or negative. The scrub radius is positive when the kingpin axis meets the tire center line below the ground. In this case, the wheels tend to toe out. The scrub radius is 0 when the kingpin axis meets the tire center line on the ground. In this case, the wheels keep straight position without any tendency to toe in or toe out. In this position, steering is called center point steering. The scrub radius is negative when the kingpin axis meets the tire center line above the ground. In this case, the wheels tend to toe in. Under normal practice, combined angle is kept around 10 degrees, and scrub radius is maintained around 12 millimeters. Caster. Caster is defined as the angle between the kingpin center line and the vertical in the plane of the wheel. Now, if the kingpin center line meets the ground at a point ahead of vertical center line, then it's known as positive caster. Whereas, if it is behind the vertical center line, then it is known as negative caster. The purpose of providing caster is to give a trailing effect to the front wheel. This trailing effect allows the vehicle to easily steer a straight course. Under normal practice, the caster angle is kept around 2 to 8 degrees. Toe in or toe out. Toe in is defined as the amount by which the front wheels are set closer together at the front than at the rear. Similarly, toe out is defined as the amount by which the front wheels are set closer together at the rear than at the front. Excessive toe in of the wheels result in decreased oversteer and increased directional stability, whereas excessive toe out results in reduced understeer and greater increase in steering during cornering. Under normal practice, about 3 mm of toe in is provided in the front wheels. Now let's summarize the factors pertaining to steering geometry as